guys, let's play some more Magic. Vintage Cube 64-player tournaments are some of my favorites, so when it's around holiday time, I try and find time for some of those. I have yet to make a final table, but maybe today is the day. I'll be drafting against 7 other players, then I'm going to try and make it out of the pod between those players, and then there's a final table. All of this is single elimination, so who knows how long this video is gonna go on for. Yeah, Vintage Cube, everything I love about Magic, old cards, new cards coming together nicely in a small puzzle piece, and yeah, that's the name of the game. So always a stacked table here. 3 or 4 known grinders. Wow, Black Lotus, more or less the best start you can imagine. Generally with Lotus, you want to power out threats, snowbally threats that win the game. You want combos, stuff like that. So picking Lotus here is the easy part. Now we need to make sure that we are paying attention. So Academy getting picked up is a sign that I should not speculate on something like, I don't know, Mishra's Workshop or Mox Opal, probably the best 2 examples. Fatal Push will go. But other than that, super medium pack. So I'm not going to wheel anything meaningful out of here regardless. Maybe the person taking Academy can wheel Expedition Map. Maybe the person taking Fatal Push can wheel Kaito. But, you know, that's the kind of the stuff we're talking about. Starting with Lotus here is absolutely amazing. So let's add that to our deck. Next pack. Wildly unexciting. I think the best card in this pack is Loose Focus. The 2-mana Karnas are good, and this is no exception. That's probably going to be my pick. Malevolent Rumble is decent. If you know your green already, you know it helps you look for stuff like Nadu, Graveyard Synergy with Uro. What do I know? Tendrils of Agony. So, funny enough, if there was a Brain Freeze in this pack, I would probably have jumped all over it. But Tendrils is not exactly the same thing. So, let's take the Loose Focus and see if we can get to play that card. Okay, so now the best card in this pack is Parallax Wave by a mile. Black Lotus is awesome in white aggro, so we should probably take that card. Parallax Wave and Loose Focus don't necessarily go together, but there's, you know, only so much we can do about that. I think I'm supposed to take Parallax Wave here. If you take something like Sheldock here because of personal preference, I think that's fine. I don't think that's playing to win, but I think it's fine. If I can wield the Council's Judgment, I'm the happiest guy ever. Ooh, Path and Failure. 2 best cards in the pack are white. I'm going to take the Dog here. The Dog is absolutely incredible. Path to Exile, not the card I wanted to pass here. Let's see when this pack comes back. If Descendant of Storms is still here, I would love it, but who knows? All right, Philly added to the fold. Not bad. Yeah, just you know, Black Lotus, Parallax Wave, Philia. Those cards are awesome. And then there's the Loose Focus that is a little bit of a maybe. So a super medium pack. If I was a green deck, I would have loved the order, but I'm just going to take Bread and Butter Cathar Commando. I actually think the card is quite good. I don't think blue-white tap lane is where I want to be. I would rather try and make a move here on the white cards and see if I can block off that color. Cathar Commando is not the best 5th pick in the history of the game. So I think the next couple of picks before the pack, my opening pack wheels back to me, that's going to tell us a lot about the quality of this direction. I'm sorry about that. I've been a little bit under the weather. That's also why you've seen some videos with no mic and no commentary. It was okay to press record, but I didn't really want to be on camera. I hope you guys understand that. So for anybody who hasn't played with Parallax Wave and Vintage Cube, it's frequently a... So let's say I have 3 creatures. My opponent has 3 creatures, and I remove them, attack them twice, and they're dead, right? But this can also, you know, save your creatures from mass removal, get some value with ETBs, and this card just does a lot of messed up stuff. It also is good against like Reanimator and Sneak Attack type decks, funnily enough. Let's see. I would probably pick something like Tundra, Hallowed Fountain, Flooded Strand, Prismatic Vista somewhat highly. So funnily enough, we have the worst of the duels here, but it's still very, very good. But I'm going to take the Voice of Victory. I think, let's say the Voice was not here. I would probably take the Seachrome Coast and work on playing blue-white. But if there's a solid white card, I'm just going to take that card, period. Same here. Lots of blanks, and then the Squadron, which is quite strong. I believe it will even boost these tokens into 2/2s, so very, very cool card. Just a solid 2-drop with a lot of upside. So I'm firmly in White Weenie archetype, and this card is highly, doubtful to make the deck, but that's great. That's not a problem at all. Let's see if we can wheel some of the cards. Sometimes when white is open, you just get everything, and then you can start getting a little bit picky with your curve and stuff like that. But for now, I don't see a world where I'm not running these 5 cards in any version of the white deck. So let's say white is totally open. I'll still run these cards. So these are quality, like Parallax Wave, top, Affiliate just beneath that, and then the other is super solid. All right, that's 7 picks in. One more fresh pack before the wheels come in. I think the white 1-drop could wheel the 2/1 Oust versus Souls. Yeah, that's a pretty easy oust. I'm certainly happy that I'm drafting mono white. The Parallax Wave was kind of the go sign. It's very unrealistic that this loose focus is going to make the deck. Also, when you draft mono white and you establish that it's open, you can start picking stuff like Wasteland. Maybe Wasteland and Strip Mine are the best examples of that. The point is, you can kind of, since you don't have to draft fixing, you can, you have some other liberties in your draft. All right, we wheel Giver of Runes, which is incredible. When, 8th pick Giver of Runes, when you're drafting mono white, that's just the dream. So let's see if we can keep working on having a low curve, but still, some potential with explosive Lotus plays. So let's see. Is Guardian can return Lotus, and it's good with Lotus. I'm going to draft that card as my top end. That's fine. Let's see. Whenever this creature attacks, return target. Yeah. So you can Lotus it out, and then you can kind of use your 2-drop or 1-drop or whatever to bring it back. Wow, we even did wheel the Council's Judgment. Sheldrak Isle still in the pack. That's not allowed. Okay, so with us getting 10th pick Council's Judgment in a pack with no other white cards, that, we're kind of confirmed that our deck is open. So now it's just about getting the best deck possible and maybe even do some hate drafting along the way. I was close to hate picking the Wrath of God. If the Dam comes back, I might hate pick that one. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, the 2/1, I believe, is going to be the next pack or the following. May or may not still be there. It's still there. That is unbelievable. So not only is white super open, we also have a Black Lotus and a Parallax Wave. Very, very, very powerful start to the draft. We should probably draft this because red and blue are the colors we are most likely to want to splash with either Ancestral Time Walk, Fortheolingus, Bombardier, that type of stuff. So yeah, the Triumph, just good card to have access to. I'm not going to play like straight Boros, so this is a cool. So this is another just a free land. So if I randomly open blue power, I can just put it in my deck. Sometimes you have to pick up late, you know, back-ended combos or fixing for the future potential. You might not need it, but it's a lot better to have the option. The Healy is never going to make my deck. Yeah, I mean, incredible pack one. I couldn't be happier. All right, there's Mana Vault, a card that historically isn't the best in this deck. There's also Ancient Tomb, which is a lot better, especially if I play some more 3-drops with double colorless and the mana value later. I'm probably going to wield the Lens. I like the Lens. That card is totally reasonable. Yeah, maybe this is Ancient Tomb. That's one of the lands I should have mentioned before when I was going through the liberties you can take when you can just put a million planes in your deck. So for now, Ancient Tomb is not insane, but hopefully it will be. All right, next pack. And nothing here is super exciting. So let's think about the Ranger that will go and get one of these. I think I can easily wheel that card. Maybe the Palantir is just a good gas card against any deck with like removal spells and what have you. Palantir versus what? I guess that's it. That's really, really, really unexciting. Adeline is good. Multiverse Passage is good, but I'm actually not necessarily looking to splash. The thing is, Adeline will highly likely wheel. Is this just where I take the passage because I want to leave the door open for the splash because I'm so confident in the white being open? Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. Love Mana Tithe. This card is also super solid. I can take this card, try and wield the Tithe. Authority is good, but inconsistency is the name of the game. This is a weird draft because when it comes to white cards, this draft is my oyster. So I should probably try and high roll a little bit. Well, I'm really unexcited about the Witch Enchanter, so let me grab a fetch land here. The fetch land can go and get Triome. If I want to splash, I'm very well set up. In theory, my deck could look like this easily. I could splash the focus if I wanted to. Unclear if that's what I want to do. So 8, 14 playables already. If I'm just counting these. Worth noting is Ancient Tomb is not that great in my deck right now. I would love to wield the Mana Tithe. That card just always performs for me. Also, a card like Reprieve plays so well with the flashy 2-drops I have here. All right. Nothing insane going on here after the first pack. Stoneforge Mystic versus Get Lost. So let's see. For now, the Stoneforge does nothing, but it could later. Get Lost might be very replaceable. Okay, we can take Stoneforge here and keep it in mind, put it in this column. So what would be the best equipment? I guess Skull Clamp. All right, I need a few more quality cards here to be super excited before pack 3. I think I have very good chances to get quality cards. And also I have both blue and red splash lined up in case I get some quality in those colors. But that's probably not going to happen in this pack. It's probably just rounding out the pack with a couple of solid white cards. Oh yeah, Vintage Cube is so cool. Wow, okay. I missed a reprieve at first glance. So some more sweepers that I could get wrecked by later, but reprieve is just up quality. Can't pass that up. Also note that Lotus is also good in 2-drop tribal, because you can kind of double 2-drop on turn 1, which is absurd. Apparition, awesome card. If that wasn't here, I would take the No More Lies. Probably try and play it, but yeah, this card is just super solid. Clears the way, leaves the body. Perfect. Still searching for an equipment, still have the splashes lined up. I'm just mainly saying it out loud to remind myself. Let's see if I can wheel the Adeline that I actually wanted out of that pack, but I picked the land, I think. Leave more flexible options. Let's see, 23. So now I'm only going to see the wheels, I believe. Let's see what those are. How am I doing on removal? Council's Apparition, Oust, Parallax Wave. Ilias, a pseudo removal to clear the way. So not bad, not bad. Swords of Plowshares would probably be the best card for my deck. Let's see if I can wheel Mana Tithe and or Adeline. That would be amazing. I do wield the Glimmer Lens and the Loran of the Third Path. Wonder what's more important. I'm actually going to go for the Glimmer Lens. I really like cheap cards. And also, it actually turns on the Stoneforge. So now I'm probably going to play Stoneforge regardless. Okay. Not bad, not bad. So 11, 14, 16. That's fine. I need 7 more, which I will easily get. Ranger Captain. I mean, I'll play it. Here's Adeline. That's just a lot better. Adeline, that's a... Oh my god, we're wheeling everything here. Witch Enchanter. Should I play that in my mana base? Probably good. Pick a land. Pick a Wrath. Wow, wheeling everything here. This is really, really looking nice. Let's see if we can get lucky here with some more power. What's the best card? Probably Time Walk, and then Mox Pearl as the second one. Yeah, this deck looks really consistent. Wow, Mana Crypt. That is really, really strong. So funnily enough, I have all of the double white cards here. But yeah, this is great. Mana Crypt is really, really good. I mean, it's better than an off-color Mox, probably. Unless I'm playing in a matchup where it's going to be a creature race. Can we wheel anything here? Let's read this card. It enters. Okay, Oblivion Ring. And you can sacrifice it. So I guess if it gets killed or you get desperate, you can waterbend it. Let's see. Sure. Yeah, I'm not too excited about that card. I'm very excited about Mana Crypt, though. That was one hell of a pickup. Now the life loss starts to look a little bit... I'm probably not going to play the Witch Enchanter now, which is a little bit of a shame, but I'll happily sacrifice that. The thing about Cube is everybody's going to have good cards, but who can play them faster and who can play them more consistently, right? So that means mana fixing, or in this case, monocolored deck, is awesome, and the mana acceleration is awesome. All right, this pack is very bad for me. I don't feel like this Marsh Fletch will do anything. Sure, it can go get this land, but I'm not really splashing. I feel like I should hate pick something here so I don't lose to another deck. I also think Prismatic Ending is just unexciting in a monocolored deck. So I should probably hate pick or Animate or Demonic Tutor here. Yeah, I'm gonna hate pick Demonic Tutor. But there's also a world where between these two, maybe this one connects later and I can actually cast a tutor and then that's a second Parallax Wave. Okay. Okay. I should probably keep an eye out for that one. Ooh, Orcish Bowmasters versus Ocelot Pride. Ah. So if I had perfect mana, the Bowmasters is better. So I think I'm just going to go for the Pride here and also be very happy. I'm certainly not going to complain about that. All right. Here's the Scrubland to solidify the tutor or Caracas in my mana base. Caracas is just so good. Can protect my stuff, bounce opposing stuff. Yeah, I'm going to take Caracas here. Thraben Inspector versus nothing. I love the Thraben Inspector. I think it's a totally reasonable card. Let's see. Do I have any Flicker Wisp combos? I guess I have a lot of that going on. Or like get an extra 2/2. What else? Maybe this is actually not that good of a Flicker Wisp deck. Okay, so maybe take Emperor. This card is actually busted. Really, really cool addition to the cube. A bad Flicker Wisp deck, huh? Bad Flicker Wisp deck. I mean, can always do some stuff on the opponent's side of the table. I'll pick that card. I think it's fine. Mind Twist. Is that a card I want? Probably, like a very good sideboard card at least. And I think this card is replaceable. Okay. Okay, so Backstreet to connect with the fetch land. I can see it. I don't like these cards, but I guess I should take this one. So let's see, 14. Yeah, I have enough playables and then some. Mind Twist. I mean, I'm a Lotus Mana Crypt deck, so Mind Twist could just randomly win the game. So what about Ancient Tomb? I'm not even sure I should play it. So what does it do? It cracks this clue. Double spells on turn 2. It's good with Mind Twist. It's good with Parallax Wave. It's good with Scale Lord. It's good with Palantir. Yeah, it's a little bit on the edge. It's close whether that card is good or not. Let's assume I don't wheel anything else. I have to add 9 cards. 5, 14 white with a tap land. Okay. I certainly have a deck here. Lots of cool cards. So let's just draft the Phoenix. Take the Hello Fountain if I need to board in Loose Focus. That's not bad. Scrubland, wow. Scrubland I'm going to draft over Absent. Yes. This enabling Demonic Tutor and Mind Twist at a higher clip is just more important. I think there's a chance I don't run Ancient Tomb in this deck. Which sounds a little bit crazy. I'm certainly not going to run this. Huh. Okay. Well, I really liked how this draft ended out. I will see you guys for the building. All right, let's try and build this deck. I think the only question is going to be whether I want Ancient Tomb or Plains in my deck, which is a little bit funny. So how many black sources do I have? I have 5. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. All about that card. So let's see. How many starting white do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ancient Tomb. So it's good with these cards. It's so annoying it's not good with any of my threes outside of Palantir. I'm actually not going to run it. Let's see. So, yeah, this deck just looks so awesome. It really, really, really looks good. Both Lotus and Mana Crypt. That's insane. This is not the best, like, Demonic Tutor Mind Twist deck, but I think it's too good to pass up. Question is if there are matchups where I would rather have the counter. But I guess I'll just sideboard that in against combo. Then I'll go, like, these couple lands instead of 2 planes at the loose focus, remove a removal spell and what have you. Maybe consider this one, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think this deck's great. It's proactive, but it also has tools against unfair. Yeah, I'm super happy about this. So yeah, White Weenie, Splash, Demonic Tutor, Mind Twist. Let's see what we can do. All right, for playing Magic the Gathering, Vintage Cube. One of the coolest plays to be. This hand looks like we can turn 1 Descendant, turn 2 tap land, turn 3 3-drop. It's a little bit annoying if I draw 2-drop and I have to play off beat. But that's what tap lands do in Magic, right? Savannah Lions with upside. They've made quite a few of those over the years. I enjoy most of them, I must say. I'm a sucker for a fast mana curve. So let's see. Turn 1, turn 2, dig for land, turn 3, build the opponent's stuff, or if I have wiggle room, get the Palantir down. The sooner you can get that into play, the better. Playing with this card is actually a little bit complicated because you're going to expect the opponent to mill you. So then what are you going to do? In my case, when I'm looking for lands, that could be a little bit awkward. Should I expect my opponent to give me the cards? I expect my opponent to mill me. Stuff like that. So just imagine I see lands, right? I guess the first time if I can put the land as number 2, that would be pretty sick. All right. Turn 1 creature. Let's see how broken the opponent is. Fetch land. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about with the 2-drop. Now I'm gonna bin most things that isn't a mana source. Scrubland infinitely better than the backstreet here. Plains infinitely better. So already we see the price. I do draw the third land rather on time, so that's pretty cool. This is probably a Palantir turn. The opponent looks to have 2 mana counter up. If I had a flash threat, I would love to play on my opponent's turn, but I don't, so I'm gonna take my medicine here, and then all the times they don't have a counter, this card resolves. Miscalculation it is. And yeah, I mean, just imagine I turn to the voice here. That would be so good. Okay, the opponent misses a land drop. I think the opponent will trade off if given the chance, so maybe we should just try and do this. Apparition the blocker. Get in for 2. The opponent missing land drop here, I think, is pivotal. Yep, my opponent has to pass here. Let's voice first. Okay, no play. Yeah, this is brutal for the opponent. So, of course, a card like Balance, you know, it does exist, but I think I'm supposed to try and go for the throat here. Attack for 4. Next turn, I'm attacking for how much? 9? Next turn, I'm attacking for 9. Yeah, that's not really much of a game. We only learned about the opponent's colors, the fact they have a miscalculation. Win against Bant. Mind Twist on the draw could be slow. Demonic Tutor is essentially a second Parallax Wave. Yeah, the more I think about this, the more clunky it is. But I also realized I just drew I just drew my shadowy backstreet, and it was super annoying. I think this is okay. Let's resubmit here. I also have a deck with Mana Crypt and Lotus, which will both supercharge most openers. Speaking about that, wow. I can go turn 1 Adeline, holding up Mahana Tithe, which is kind of funny. I'll probably do that. That card snowballs quite nicely. It's like a Rabble Master, I guess you can call it. Abundance on the mult of 5. We could be in very, very, very good shape here. So this is going to resolve. And then if the opponent has 2 good things after that, and I can only deal with one of them with Mana Tithe, and I break on lands, that's kind of the opponent's avenue to victory, but it's going to be a rough one for the opponent unless they have something broken. Okay, so the Fetch Bauble combo in Vintage Cube. Let's see if they want the card. They do. Shadowy Backstreet is back. Here's Black Lotus. Let's play turn 1 Adeline. Let's pass. Hopefully Mana Tithe or ignore a 2-drop. That would be even better. Okay, the opponent has something here. So is this Dismember? No, it's not. It's fetching to thin the deck. Let's see. No play. Untap land is not bad. What does that mean for me? I feel like I should Thraben Inspector to get in for slightly more damage. I expect the Mana Tithe to be fired this turn cycle, and then next turn I can Ademi. Let's see if the opponent has any flashy stuff. Lightning Bolt on that card is perfectly fine. Yeah, that was not the most deep gameplay here. Game 1, my opponent doesn't find a land. Game 2, they mold a 5, and I have a Nut Lotus draw. So, all right, let's see if we can have a better one in the next round. All right, semifinals of the first draft pot. I'm playing Mono White, Splash, Demonic Tutor, and Mind Twist in the Cube 64. This hand is amazing. I just have to figure out how to play it. So it looks like I should go turn 1 Voice, turn 2 hold up Mana Tithe, end step the Failure. Maybe not even end step. Maybe just play on my own turn because of how Voice of Victory works. They land first in case I get force negated. Turn 1 Voice with the logic of turn 1 is hopefully the least dangerous. That's kind of my window. Yeah, that was cool. So Demonic Tutor, a dead card for now. Let's play this around counter magic. The logic being that, yeah, huh. So I guess because I have Apparition, I should let this resolve. Yes, let's try that. Land here would be decent. I will be tapping down from Mana Tithe, but I think that's okay. So now I guess I blink my Mana Crypt. All right. This is an important turn for the opponent. Let's see what they can do about it. Step down from Mana Tithe. I really wanted to... Ooh, I got lucky here. So they had no play here, and I'm going to hopefully Mana Tithe their 4-drop and win the game. So let's attack, blink the Crypt. Back for a million, pass. The opponent can't cast anything because of voice. And now we did see a lot of 4-drop wraths in the actual draft. Yeah, this was a little bit of a weird game. The opponent played Grim Monolith. Maybe they have like a 5-drop, 6-drop, something along those lines. It looks like Mind Twist is good against that deck. Now the question is if I want the loose focus, I would have 4, how many? Let's see, Passage, Heath. I would have 4 sources for it. Maybe that's fine. What should I cut here against Jeskai in order to fit the counterspell? So we know about... That was the easy part. So it's probably either Parallax Wave or Scale Lord. Parallax Wave or Scale Lord. I really don't want to cut the wave. I think that could be insane. If they're creature centric, it's good. If they're sweeper centric, it's good. How good is this card? Maybe that's not the card I need here. All right. Sideboarding into the counterspell. See how that works. All right. Average hand. Worth noting is the equipment is something I can natural draw. Wow, nice draw. Ocelot Pride pass with Oust to clear the way if they have a blocker. Talisman. Talisman is fine. I draw the lens. That's atrocious. Let's attack. Play the Glimmer Lens. I get a 1/1. And then I'm hoping what my opponent's counterplay is, you know, a creature. That would be insane, but expecting the sweeper at some point. Oh, Tinker. Sheesh. All right. Lots of unbeatable stuff here. That card is one of them. Now I need to draw a land so I can Judgment. I do draw the land. That's exactly what you want to see. Council's Judgment. Get the portal out of there, and then we kind of start over. Wow, yeah, the 3rd land there was awesome. Let's see what the opponent can do. Teferi. Okay. I wonder... Yeah, plus, that's fine. Ooh. Ooh, ooh. So now what I can do is play a Demi and Flicker Wisp the Glimmer Lens. That's probably not bad. Flicker Wisp on the lens. Play the 3/2. Okay. Flicker Wisp down. The 2/2 will get bounced. Play this now with my floating mana. Stoneforge is not going to tutor anything, but it's still a body for Glimmer Lens, which is not bad. The opponent's probably a little bit ahead after these exchanges. If I can kill it to Fairy here, that would be awesome. Parallax Wave. Not bad. I feel like I should just attack. Maybe the opponent's holding up a 2-mana counter. Okay. The Fairy down. So now I think I should play Stoneforge. If I have a counter, so be it. If this resolves, I'm looking at Miscalc. But no, I think the other guy had that one. I'm looking at Mana Leak. Let's just look at the deck for good measure. Let's equip the Stoneforge. So now my opponent, their first thought is probably that I have an equipment in hand, which could make them overestimate the Stoneforge. This turn is the big one, I feel like. If I get to attack here and draw, I really like my spot. Maybe they have some double blue cards in hand. With the way this game has been, like, they're passing with 4 mana. The One Ring, that's sick. Yes, that's fine. So now I'm going to be playing Glimmerlens versus the One Ring theme deck. Probably not that good for me. Pass. Let's see if we can find a good card on our own here. All right, let's attack first. No damage, but I get the draw. Voice is not bad. I feel like I should play around Wrath here. So I do that by... What happens if I play Thraben? Voice is also pretty cool. Play Voice. Sure. And Thraben, I guess. All right, let's try this out. The One Ring active is a big problem. So I think all I can do is like try and put on as much pressure as possible. In a perfect world, the opponent plays some creatures to play defense. I play Wave and I kill them over 2 turns. Let's see if we live in a perfect world. It was super scary to learn about Tinker into whatever it's called. Hull Breacher. Okay, so I'm probably going to get wheeled on here. And I don't have any outs in my deck. So we have to let this resolve. Ooh, that's scary. Hull Breacher, Time Twister. Oh. No wheel. Okay, I guess I didn't think about the Voice of Victory here. Let's see. I can't remember what this is. Um, all right. So now comes the question, can I play it end of turn already? I can. Wow, that was a terrible play. Play it again. I got my will when it came to Parallax Wave, so yeah, must be nice. And it sure is. Wave. Attack for 1,000,000. Draw a card. ManaTithe. I mean, I'm going to hold that up. When is that? 9. Yeah, I'm going to hold that up. And also, you know, the indestructibility here is good against some of the outs like Wrath and Dam and stuff like that. All right. The opponent's up to 8 cards. They have to beat a commanding board of Parallax Wave and a bunch of creatures. How much damage do I have? 1, 2, 4, 5, 8 damage. Let's see. So I can get rid of 3 of my creatures here. And they will then come back untapped, I guess. So which do I want? I probably shouldn't have done it on the Stoneforge, to be honest. I have to re-equip. Yeah, that was bad. Okay. All right. The opponent's creatures are back. They have access to... Right, so Airbend, or whatever it's called, Waterbend. Let's tutor. Let's find nothing. Now I have to replay that card. Let's see what this is. Urza. That's a good one. Now the opponent has 3 mana to work with. 4 mana to work with. The One Ring is going to deal them 3. Yeah, this is going to be tight. So I can bounce 2 things with Caracas here, which is pretty cool. Bounce Ursa, untap, bounce that card. Yeah, let's see. Sword of the Meek is essentially a mana rock here because of Urza. Let's bounce the Urza here. That works. Let's see what the Crypt can do. Drawing Adeline. Not bad. So I can bounce that card. I can oust. That'll put my opponent to 10, which is not great. If I can map onto this flyer, I think I'm winning. I need to get my opponent to 3. So the One Ring will kill him. Okay. So that's the move. Question is if I want this. This Caracas is locked to block the bounce the flyer. map a couple of times. So let's start with that. Map onto that card. Put loose focus into the yard. I think I have lethal now. Let's see if that's true. Bounce. Flying. And then the opponent needs life gain on the upkeep to survive here. And they don't. Wow. That got super tight after the opponent killed my Parallax Wave. Okay, that means next match we'll be playing for going to the final table. So yeah, pod finals coming up. All right, here we are for the pod finals. I'm on the draw with my white deck, and I have 5 lands and 2 spells. My opponent's on a mulligan. Turn 1 creature, turn 2 creature is awesome. The thing is, when you have 5 lands, if you draw land number 6, let's make a thought experiment here. For my next, how many draws do I need to draw? How many spells? So probably I need to draw 2 spells in a row to be super competitive here. What if I draw, let's say, 3 spells out of 4? My 4 next cards. Then I have a 5 to 6 land spell ratio. Yeah, it's probably not. It's not feasible, unfortunately. I have to mulligan here. This is better, not great. I think the move here is to put back a plains and then say I will natural draw lands. And I also play a deck with Lotus and Crypt. So the Guardian, we might end up in a game where the Guardian never does anything, but I think putting it back here is just too unambitious. Then I'm just, 1 land away from the same situation. So yeah, this is not crazy or anything, but I have Lotus and Mana Crypt in my deck. Put back a plains. I have my black already. Caracas might do something. Turn 1 giver. I have a couple of draws to find a turn 2 play. All right. Let's see what we're up against. Grixis land. Pass. Very bad draw with the plains. Would love to draw a play for next turn. Then I like my chances. I think I have to get a little lucky if I don't have a play on turn 2. Here's Freebooter taking my Palantir. Good play from the opponent. Plains, terrible draw. Have to pass. All right. Sometimes the draws are just, not there, if that makes sense. Just like our opponent in round 1. He didn't really get to play the game. I usually use the phrase that we should try and win the games that are up for grabs, right? So can't really do much else. But now we're basically hoping the opponent has nothing going on and I draw some bangers. I mean, it's very possible. Here's Thoughtseize. And the Guardian is gone. Oh no, they're going to reanimate. Oh, sheesh. Okay. Yeah, that's very bad for me. I do have some removal spells for that card in my deck. So, okay, so I'm playing against Reanimator. Here's Stoneforge Mystic. Let's tutor the lens. I wonder if I'm supposed to block and give protection to save 2 damage. Maybe I should do that. The opponent only has 3 cards, so I think I'm just a Council's Judgment away from, you know, being competitive. Let's quickly consult the deck list here. So I also have Oust. Apparition doesn't work. Council's Judgment. Let's try and do this and give protection. I'm not sure about this play, but let's try it out. Trying to save some damage. Land. Land is very, very bad here. Let's try go Glimmer Lens, equip. And hope that the opponent is not doing much else aside from those boys. Looks like we do get to draw here. Don't bowmaster me, bro. Land number 7. Alright, so next turn I can play Scale Lord. Okay. That doesn't do anything, so let's see if the opponent has a power 5 drop. That would do something. The opponent has ways to reanimate fast. Let's see. Do I have any anti-reanimator cards in the sideboard? I don't think I do. I can consider the removal spell, I guess. Yeah, that's probably good against stuff like the Tyrant. A lot better than, you know, something like Scale Lord against the combo deck. But I can attack for half of my life total here, which is not a good place to be. Then I can play the Flyer. The Flyer stops the freebooter at least, but yeah, this is not ideal. Hieroglyph. Shooting for 2. I'm at 7. I draw Black Lotus. So my top card could be Parallax Wave, so I should go. Let's see. I should crack the Lotus to play this one and then bring it back. Do I have mana for Parallax Wave? So now I'll have to probably Suicide Attack. Which one? Probably the Stone Forge is the better one to Suicide Attack. Draw Failure. Is that good enough? I think I have enough toughness to survive this turn, but it's not pretty. Do I want to equip? I don't think so. Let's pass. Ophelia can block, I guess, Pyrogoyf. I can bounce it with Caracas. Then maybe I should replay it with Lotus. Take 6 from the Vaultborn. Also, why did the opponent not play Volcanic last turn? This could be because they're playing Fable or Brainstorm. Maybe Faithless Looting in the deck. Did I forget to play a land last turn? I don't think so. I think I did. Lotus, Guardian. Maybe I forgot to play land. That's not good. Nope, I played a land. Never mind. Okay. The opponent has a turn ahead of them here. Here comes the clowns. Here's failure. I want to try and block. Unfortunately, if the opponent has a play. Bitter triumph. Block. Take exactly 7. All right. The opponent got game 1. I had atrocious draw. The opponent had a solid draw, so no shame in that. I like a lot of these cards. Scale Lord, I think, is simply too slow to matter. It's out of necessity that I was toying around with that card. So add a removal spell instead of that and call it a day. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, let's go. I have a lot of removal. I just didn't find it in time. The Tyrant is quite beatable for a white deck with a ton of exile removal. All right, opponent. You got me good. Yeah, I just drew a million lands. Not much to report. But I think it was good that I had an idea about how to actually win the game. So I needed to make my plays and stuff. This is unfortunately a mulligan. This hand would be awesome if there was a land instead of one of the black cards. Okay. Well. Let's see. Backs against the wall. Mull to 5 here. Not ideal. Not ideal. Black Lotus laughing in my face here. Let's see if the opponent likes their 7. That's always the case when you play these. You can just have a couple of bad draws and the tournament's over. Doesn't really matter, you know, what your deck is on paper. You can get good draws or bad draws, and that's kind of just part of it, right? So we need to make the most of what we are actually dealt. We cannot really change that, but we can, you know, draft well, build our deck well, mulligan well, play our turns well. And sometimes that's good enough, and sometimes there's really nothing you can do. All right. This hand is great. Interesting. I could get rid of the Descendant, go turn 1 Pride, turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 2 Adeline. That's probably going to be my move. Oh, I have to get rid of one more. Well, I think I have to get rid of the Stoneforge. I think the Adeline is what's gonna, you know, race. So let's see if that holds up. Ocelot Pride. That's gonna get going, which is cool. I guess Snuff Out is a magic card. Never mind. Fury is a magic card. Pyrokinesis is a magic card. Okay, so it looks like we get the Ocelot Pride going. I don't think the opponent should give you more draws at, you know, Reprieve, Mana Tithe, etc. Flicker Wisp could be cool for later. Let's see if they can interact with the Pride here. Shocking from Overgrown Tomb. Oh, I'm just going to get reanimated. Okay, well, that's pretty strong. That's probably going to do it here, unless I find exactly Council's Judgment. All right, that was a beating. Bad draws game 1, and then all the 5 versus an odd draw. I mean, that's just how it goes. That was essentially what I was trying to do. to my opponent with some Black Lotus, mana crypt draws. So that's how, you know, that's how Magic works. Two guys sit down and one is a loser. See here, sneak attack, better triumph, Oliphant. So I need to draw Oust, but then again, I'm just delaying the inevitable. Probably need to draw the O-Ring card or Council's Judgment. The opponent's even going to clean up here so they can set up the Exhume if they want to. It's funny, I had the chance to hate pick the Reanimate in this draft, I feel like, but I could be misremembering. It's a couple of hours ago. Yeah, I think... No, maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering. Opponent discarding 2 cards. I need to find a hard removal right now, but even then I'm getting beat by some stuff, I think. Maybe not. Oh, they didn't take the Fire Covenant, so... Let's see. Hard removal into Flicker Wisp. Could do it. Worston. And that is not going to do it. All right. Good games. Good luck on Final Table. That's going to do it for the video. Thanks so much for watching as always. It's been a lot of fun. I love to play Cube, and I might do it again in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back next time.